You're pouring your coffee. Same mug, same spot on the counter, same tilt of the pot, and out of nowhere, your whole body freezes. Because you've done this exact moment before. Not something similar. This. The angle of the light, the sound of the liquid hitting the cup, even the thought you were about to have next, you already know what it is before you think it. For about 2 seconds, you're not sure if you're remembering the past or living it. Then it's gone. You shake it off, finish your coffee, move on with your day. But somewhere in the back of your mind, one question is left sitting there. What was that? That's déjà vu. Nearly 2 out of 3 people report experiencing it at some point in their lives. And here's the unsettling part. Your brain has no idea it just glitched. There's no error message, no warning light. You're the only one who noticed, and even you only noticed for about 2 seconds before it vanished. So what's actually happening in there? Turns out, neuroscientists don't fully agree. This has been studied for over a century, and there still isn't one single accepted answer. Instead, there are a handful of competing theories, and each one gets a little weirder than the last. Theory 1, memory mismatch. Your brain is constantly comparing what's happening right now to your library of past experiences, looking for overlap so it can predict what happens next. This runs in the background nonstop every waking second, completely invisible to you. But every so often, a new moment shares just enough surface details with an old memory, the lighting, the room layout, a stray phrase someone says, that your brain flags it as seen before, even though it's brand new. It's less like remembering the past and more like your brain's search engine returning the wrong result with way too much confidence attached to it. Think of it like autocomplete on your phone. It's not reading your mind, it's just pattern matching so fast that sometimes it's convinced it already knows what you're about to type, even when it's wrong. Your brain does the exact same thing with entire moments of your life, except instead of a wrong word, it hands you a wrong sense of time. Theory 2, neural misfire. This one's more literal and a little more mechanical. Your brain processes information through multiple pathways that are supposed to fire in a specific order. Sensory input first, then recognition, then the feeling of familiarity last, like 3 coworkers passing a file down the line. Some researchers think déjà vu happens when that order gets scrambled. The "this feels familiar" signal fires a split second too early, before the actual experience has even finished registering. So your brain tags a brand new moment as old news before it's even done processing that it's new at all. It's like your phone's notification popping up before the app even finishes loading the message. The alert's already there, fully confident. The content hasn't caught up yet. Somewhere in your skull, a coworker just skipped ahead in the assembly line and announced the result before the product was actually finished. Theory 3, and this is where it gets genuinely unsettling, temporal lobe activity. The temporal lobe is the part of your brain responsible for memory and recognition, and researchers studying epilepsy patients found something strange. People with temporal lobe epilepsy report déjà vu constantly, sometimes as a direct warning sign right before a seizure begins. In some documented cases, neurosurgeons have been able to trigger the exact sensation of déjà vu just by electrically stimulating that specific region of the brain during surgery, meaning they can switch the feeling on with a wire, on command, in a person who is fully conscious and aware it's happening. Which means this deeply personal, spooky feeling of "I've lived this before" might just be a location on a map, a button, essentially, that can be pushed by someone else entirely. For most people, experiencing déjà vu isn't a red flag. It's just a normal, harmless quirk of a healthy brain. But it does mean the feeling you thought was mystical, almost supernatural, is really just electricity taking a wrong turn in a very specific neighborhood of your skull, the same neighborhood that happens to light up before a seizure in a small number of people. Theory 4 is the one that reframes everything, the dual processing delay. Some scientists believe your brain actually runs 2 separate systems at once, one that experiences the world in real time, moment to moment, and one that quietly double-checks everything against memory just behind it, like a safety net running a few milliseconds late, constantly playing catch-up. Normally, you never notice the second system. It works so fast and so quietly that its entire job is to be invisible. The whole point of a safety net is that you forget it's there. Déjà vu, under this theory, is what happens on the rare occasion that safety net briefly catches up to the front-facing system and overlaps with it. Or a fraction of a second, you experience the checking process and the living process at the exact same time. 2 systems that were never supposed to be visible together, briefly running side by side. In other words, déjà vu isn't your brain glitching. It's your brain's quality control system accidentally showing its work, like catching a magician's hand mid-trick. And here's the twist that makes this even stranger. Déjà vu isn't random, and it isn't evenly distributed across people. It shows up more in specific groups. It happens more often in people who travel frequently, because unfamiliar environments give the brain more raw material that can accidentally overlap with old memories. More new inputs means more chances for a false match. It happens more in younger people, spiking in the teens and 20s, and then drops off significantly with age, possibly because younger brains are still actively calibrating how memory and real-time perception are supposed to talk to each other. And it happens far more often, far more intensely in people with certain forms of epilepsy, for the electrical reasons we just covered. So if you're someone who gets déjà vu a lot, it's not a sign anything is wrong with you. If anything, it might mean your brain's background checking system is simply active and working overtime, constantly, actively comparing your present to your past, just usually without you ever knowing it's happening at all. Which is the real gut punch here. Every single moment of your life, your brain is quietly running a background check on reality, verifying, cross-referencing, making absolutely sure the world in front of you matches what it expects to see. You never see this process running. You're not supposed to. It's designed to be invisible, the same way you never see your heart deciding to beat. Déjà vu is the one time that background system briefly slips into view. The one time in years, maybe, that you get to catch your own brain in the act of doing its job. So next time it happens, next time you're pouring that coffee and the world suddenly feels like a rerun you've already watched, don't be unsettled by it. Be a little impressed. For 2 seconds, you just watched the machinery behind your own mind reveal itself. And then, like always, it slipped right back out of sight, back to its usual job of making sure you never notice it's there at all.